Awakening among the stars. The quantum engines of the Artemis hummed with an unfamiliar resonance as Commander Sarah Chen's cryopod initiated its revival sequence. 300 years of perfectly regulated suspended animation ended with a series of precise biochemical cascades. Her consciousness returned gradually. Then all at once, like a star bursting into existence, the ship's AI, Atlas, spoke with measured calm. Commander Chen, revival protocols are complete. However, we have a situation that requires immediate attention. Sarah's military training kicked in before her muscles had fully awakened. Status report. We are approximately 1,200 light-years off our intended course. More significantly, we appear to be in the middle of an active war zone involving 3 distinct alien civilizations. Her pod opened to reveal the Artemis's command center, its holographic displays alive with tactical data and sensor readings. The ship had been designed to carry Earth's best hope. 5,000 carefully selected individuals representing humanity's greatest achievements in science, culture, and innovation. They were supposed to wake up near a carefully selected habitable planet. Instead, they'd emerged into chaos. "Show me," Sarah commanded, and the main display filled with a strategic overview of their situation. Energy signatures from weapons she couldn't begin to comprehend crisscrossed nearby space. Debris fields from destroyed ships formed artificial asteroid fields, and in the middle of it all, 3 distinct alien civilizations fought what appeared to be a war of absolute annihilation. Dr. Marcus Wong, the ship's chief scientist, was already at his station, his dark eyes reflecting the holographic chaos. The quantum anomaly that knocked us off course. It wasn't natural. We flew through the aftermath of some kind of superweapon discharge. The physics involved, it's beyond anything humanity has ever encountered. What are we dealing with? Sarah asked, studying the tactical display. 3 species, Marcus explained. The Nexeri, crystalline beings that seem to communicate through light and resonance. The Vorathi, a gaseous species that exists in a state we barely understand. And the Chiradians, biomechanical entities that blur the line between organic and artificial. The Artemis's sensors painted a grim picture. All 3 civilizations possessed technology that seemed to operate on principles that defied human understanding. Yet despite their advancement, or perhaps because of it, they were locked in a conflict that threatened to tear this sector of space apart. Lieutenant James Rodriguez, their tactical officer, spoke up from his station. Their weapons are incredible, but their warfare is primitive. They're fighting like it's the 21st century, just with bigger guns. No subtlety, no real strategy, just overwhelming force. Sarah watched as a Nexari crystal ship, beautiful and terrible, unleashed what looked like solidified lightning at a Vorathi gas cloud vessel. The Vorathi ship absorbed the attack and responded with a weapon that seemed to distort reality itself. Neither side showed any interest in tactical retreat or strategic positioning. It was pure attrition warfare on a cosmic scale. Why haven't they detected us? Sarah asked. The quantum anomaly that displaced us also seems to have altered our ship's signature, Marcus explained. To their sensors, we probably look like another piece of debris. But that won't last long, especially once we start waking more people. Sarah made her decision. Wake the first response team. Scientists, diplomats, and security personnel only. Let's figure out what we're dealing with before we wake everyone else. As if in response to her words, a massive explosion lit up the tactical display. A Chiradian world ship, twice the size of Earth's moon, had just been hit by some kind of quantum cascade weapon. The blast sent ripples through space-time itself. Their weapons are getting worse, Marcus noted. The fabric of space in this sector is starting to show signs of strain. If this continues, they'll tear the region apart at the quantum level. Sarah finished. How long? Weeks, maybe months. The laws of physics themselves are beginning to break down out there. Sarah stood at the command station, watching the conflict unfold. Humanity had fled Earth to escape extinction, hoping to find a new home among the stars. Instead, they'd found themselves in the middle of a war that threatened to destroy not just civilizations, but the very structure of space itself. "We didn't come all this way to watch the universe tear itself apart," she said firmly. "Begin analysis of all three species: culture, technology, biology, everything. I want to know why they're fighting and what might make them stop. And prep the quantum comm array. If we're going to prevent this sector from collapsing, we need to figure out how to talk to them first." The Artemis hung in space, its quantum engines cycling down to minimal power. Inside, humanity's best and brightest began to wake, ready to face a challenge none of them had expected. They had hoped to find a new home among the stars. Instead, they found a war that only humanity's unique perspective might be able to stop. As Sarah watched her crew prepare for the challenges ahead, she couldn't help but feel a grim sense of irony. Humanity had fled extinction, only to find themselves possibly holding the key to preventing it on a cosmic scale. The question was, would the warring species listen to refugees from a distant world they'd never heard of? The answer to that question would determine not just humanity's fate, but the fate of this entire sector of space. First contact in flames. The Artemis's diplomatic chamber had never been designed for this scenario. Dr. Amara Patel, Earth's leading xenolinguist, stood before 3 containment fields, each housing a representative of the warring species. Getting them here had been a feat of incredible precision, and not a small amount of luck. The Nexari representative was a crystalline structure that pulsed with internal light, its faceted surface refracting patterns that ATLAS was still struggling to translate. The Vorathi existed as a swirling purple gas cloud, maintaining its coherence through means that defied human understanding. The Chiradian delegate was a towering mass of biological and mechanical components that seemed to shift and reconfigure constantly. "Let me be clear," Amara said, her words being translated into light patterns, energy frequencies, and quantum signals simultaneously. "Your war is about to tear this sector of space apart at a fundamental level. We've measured the quantum instabilities. This isn't about winning anymore. It's about survival." The Nexari's crystal structure flashed in complex patterns. Atlas translated. "The Vorathi started this conflict when they attempted to harvest our young for energy. Our response was justified." The Vorathi representative pulsed angrily, its gas form swirling faster. "False. The Chiradians corrupted our consciousness streams with their mechanical pollution. The Nexari merely provided them the means." The Chiradians' form shifted, mechanical components clicking. "Both species fear our evolution. They would rather destroy us than accept that we represent the future." Commander Chen watched from the observation deck as Amara attempted to mediate. The universal translators were working, but understanding went beyond mere words. Each species perceived reality in fundamentally different ways. Dr. Wang's voice came over the comm. "Commander, you need to see this. Our analysis of their weapons technology just completed." The data painted a disturbing picture. Each species had developed their weapons along purely linear paths, escalating destructive capability without considering the consequences. The Nexari weaponized crystalline structures that could shatter space itself. The Vorathi created entropy weapons that accelerated quantum decay. The Chiradians developed devices that could rewrite the laws of physics on a local level. "They're like children," Marcus said, "brilliant children with antimatter matches. Each new weapon is just a bigger version of the last one. They never stop to consider alternative approaches." Sarah watched as Amara continued her attempts at diplomacy. The xenolinguist was brilliant, but traditional diplomacy assumed that all parties wanted to avoid mutual destruction. These species seemed to have lost that basic survival instinct. "What about their civilian technology?" Sarah asked. "That's the interesting part," Marcus replied. "Each species has incredible achievements in non-military areas. The Nexari understand crystal computing in ways we never imagined. The Vorathi have mastered energy manipulation at the quantum level. The Caradians' biotech could revolutionize medicine, but they're so focused on weapons, they've stopped sharing or advancing these technologies. Below, the diplomatic session had devolved into accusations and threats. The containment fields hummed as each species demonstrated exactly why they couldn't be trusted in the same room without protection. Lieutenant Rodriguez spoke up from his tactical station. "Commander, long-range sensors are picking up 3 battle fleets converging on our position. They're not here for us specifically, but we're about to have front-row seats to another engagement." Sarah made a decision. "Dr. Patel, clear the diplomatic chamber. Everyone, battle stations." As the alien representatives were safely returned to their respective vessels, Sarah outlined her plan. "They won't listen to words. Fine. Let's show them instead. Marcus, is the quantum shield technology online?" "Yes, but it's never been tested in actual combat conditions. Today's the day. James, plot an intercept course between those fleets. Amara, broadcast on all frequencies. Let them know we're about to demonstrate something new." The Artemis moved with precision that surprised the alien vessels. Humanity's ship was smaller, seemingly primitive compared to their massive war machines. But as the 3 fleets opened fire on each other, the Artemis did something none of them expected. Instead of being destroyed in the crossfire, the human vessel's quantum shields didn't just block the attacks, they redirected them, feeding the energy back into the shield matrix. Each hit made them stronger, not weaker. "Send them the shield specifications," Sarah ordered. "Show them we can share this freely. No demands, no conditions." The battles around them stuttered to a halt as each species scientists began analyzing the data. The quantum shield technology represented an entirely new approach, one that emphasized protection over destruction, adaptation over escalation. "Their weapons are about forcing reality to obey them," Marcus observed. "Our shields work with natural laws instead of trying to break them. It's a completely foreign concept to them." For the first time since arriving in this war-torn sector, Sarah felt a glimmer of hope. Sometimes the most powerful argument for peace wasn't words or threats, but simply showing a better way forward. As the alien fleets maintained their positions, weapons powered down, Sarah prepared for the next phase of their intervention. Humanity hadn't come to this sector to play peacemaker, but perhaps that's exactly why they were uniquely suited for the role. The real question was, would this demonstration be enough to make these ancient species reconsider their approach to conflict? Or would it merely give them new technologies to incorporate into their engines of war? The answer would determine their next move, and possibly the fate of this entire sector of space. The human perspective, the Artemis Central Laboratory, had become an unlikely neutral ground. Dr. Elena Santos, the ship's lead quantum physicist, stood before a holographic display showing the intertwined energy signatures of all 3 species' technology. After the shield demonstration, each civilization had agreed to limited technological exchange, more out of curiosity than trust. "The problem isn't just their weapons," Elena explained to Commander Chen. "It's their fundamental approach to technology. Each species is so convinced of their own superiority that they've created technological dead ends." The holographic display shifted, showing the Nexari crystalline architecture. They've mastered crystal computing, but they can only think in rigid crystalline patterns. The Vorathi understand energy manipulation, but can only conceive of reality as flowing energy states. The Caradians see everything as systems to be optimized and mechanized. "And humans?" Sarah asked, watching the patterns shift and merge. "We're adaptable. We see patterns others miss because we're not locked into a single way of thinking. Look at this." Elena manipulated the display, showing how human quantum technology incorporated aspects of all 3 approaches. "We don't just copy. We synthesize, adapt, improve." The lab's doors opened as Marcus Wong entered, followed by Lieutenant Rodriguez. "The alien fleets are holding position," James reported. "But there's something else. We're detecting massive energy buildups in nearby space. The quantum instabilities are getting worse. Marcus nodded grimly. The sector's reaching a critical point. Their weapons have damaged the quantum fabric so severely that space itself is beginning to unravel. We have weeks at most before the cascade becomes irreversible. Sarah studied the tactical displays. The three alien fleets maintain their uneasy triangle formation, with the Artemis at the center. They still don't understand, do they? They think this is just another technological exchange. Actually, Elena interjected, I've been working on something. A way to show them what's really at stake. She brought up a new simulation. We can use our quantum sensors to create a real-time visualization of the damage to space-time. Let them see what they've been doing to their home. The visualization was beautiful and terrifying. The sector of space around them looked like shattered glass, with cracks spreading in all directions. Energy leaked through these cracks, creating distortions that would soon become permanent. Do it, Sarah ordered. Broadcast it to all ships. The response was immediate. Sensor arrays on all alien vessels turned to study the phenomenon. The Artemis communication systems lit up with incoming transmissions. They're finally seeing it. Amara Patel reported from her station. The Nexari are particularly disturbed. Their crystal-based biology makes them more sensitive to quantum distortions. They should have noticed this earlier, but they were too focused on the war. Sarah made a decision. Prepare the quantum restoration device. The device was theoretical, developed by Elena's team using principles from all three alien technologies combined with human innovation. It could potentially heal the damage to spacetime, but it required something none of the alien species had considered: cooperation. The device needs to draw power from all four species' technology simultaneously, Elena explained. Nexari crystal matrices for precision, Vorathi energy manipulation for power, Chiradian systems for adaptation, and human quantum tech to bind it all together. It won't work unless we all contribute. Sarah opened a channel to all ships. You've seen the damage. Your war isn't just destroying ships and soldiers anymore. It's destroying space itself. We have a solution, but it only works if we work together. The choice is yours. Continue fighting until this sector becomes uninhabitable, or join us in trying to fix what's broken. The silence that followed seemed to stretch forever. Then, one by one, responses came in. First the Nexari, their crystalline ships moving into position. Then the Vorathi, their gas cloud vessels pulsing with contained energy. Finally, the Chiradians, their massive biotech ships realigning their systems. As the alien vessels linked their power systems to the Artemis, Elena began the quantum restoration sequence. Energy flowed between the ships in complex patterns, guided by human ingenuity and alien power. The device activated, sending out waves of quantum energy that began knitting space back together. It's working, Marcus reported, watching his sensors. The quantum instabilities are beginning to stabilize. But there's something else happening. The energy exchange between the ships had created something unexpected. As each species' technology interfaced with the others, new possibilities emerged. The rigid Nexari systems became more flexible. Vorathi energy patterns gained structure. Chiradian biotech showed signs of organic adaptation. They're learning from each other, Elena whispered, and from us. As the quantum restoration continued, Sarah realized they had achieved something far more significant than preventing a disaster. They had shown three ancient, powerful species something they had forgotten: the power of working together, of combining different perspectives to create something greater than the sum of its parts. The war that had raged for centuries began to look increasingly pointless in the face of what they could achieve together. Evolution of understanding. The quantum restoration process had been running for 3 days. On the Artemis observation deck, Commander Sarah Chen watched as the fabric of space slowly healed itself. The combined fleet of human and alien vessels maintained their precise formation, channeling unprecedented levels of power through the restoration device. Dr. Wong approached, his tablet displaying streams of data from their ongoing analysis. The aliens are asking for a joint conference, Not through representatives this time. They want their entire scientific councils present. The request itself was historic. The three species hadn't met in peaceful assembly for over a millennium. Sarah nodded. Set it up in the main hangar. We'll need to modify the environmental controls for all species. Hours later, the Artemis's hangar had been transformed into an unprecedented gathering. Nexari crystal clusters arranged themselves in geometric patterns along one wall, their surfaces rippling with complex light sequences. Vorathi gas forms swirled in carefully contained fields, their colors shifting through spectrums human eyes could barely perceive. Chiradian biomechanical collectives stood in ordered rows, their forms constantly reconfiguring as they processed new information. Dr. Elena Santos took the central platform, her holographic displays showing the ongoing restoration process. The quantum healing is proceeding faster than predicted, she began. The cooperation between our technologies has created unexpected synergies. But that's not why we're here. She gestured, and the display changed to show something new. The combined sensor data from all four species' observation systems. When we linked our technologies, we gained access to a broader spectrum of understanding. Each of our species sees reality differently, and for the first time, we can share those perspectives. The Nexari's crystalline communication patterns intensified. Through the translators, their chief scientists spoke. We see structure where others see chaos. Through human interfaces, we now understand that our rigid patterns blinded us to organic evolution. A Vorathi energy form pulsed forward. Our perception of endless energy flow made us dismiss the importance of form and pattern. We were wrong. The Chiradian collective added their own insight. Our drive to optimize and mechanize prevented us from seeing the value in imperfection and adaptation. Lieutenant Rodriguez, monitoring security from his station, noticed something remarkable. Commander, the threat assessment algorithms just dropped to their lowest level since we arrived. They're actually listening to each other. Sarah watched as Elena continued her presentation, showing how each species' technology could complement the others. The Nexari's crystal computing could provide structure to Vorathi energy manipulation. Vorathi power systems could enhance Chiradian biomechanical efficiency, and human adaptability could help them all find new ways to combine their strengths. The quantum damage you cause through warfare, Elena explained, can be reversed through cooperation. But more importantly, we've discovered that your technologies aren't incompatible, they're complementary. The same principles that are healing space-time could revolutionize everything from computing to medicine to space travel. Dr. Patel, monitoring the xenolinguistic feeds, noticed a subtle shift. Commander, the translation patterns are changing. They're beginning to adapt their communication to be more easily understood by each other. It's like they're developing a common language. The evidence of change was everywhere. Chiradian systems were incorporating Nexari crystal matrices to improve their processing. Vorathi energy patterns were being used to enhance Nexari communication. Human quantum interfaces were helping the Chiradians make their biomechanical systems more adaptable. Sarah stepped forward to address the gathering. 3 days ago, we showed you that your war was destroying the fabric of space itself. Today, we're showing you something more important. What you can achieve together. Each of your species has mastered aspects of reality that the others barely comprehend. Imagine what you could accomplish by combining that knowledge instead of using it to destroy each other. The response was not immediate agreement. Centuries of conflict couldn't be erased in days. But there was something new in the interactions between the species: curiosity. The Nexari wanted to understand how Vorathi energy manipulation could enhance their crystal matrices. The Chiradians were fascinated by the organic adaptability of human technology. The Vorathi saw new possibilities in combining their energy mastery with more structured systems. As the conference continued, Sarah received an urgent message from the bridge. Commander, Marcus's voice carried barely contained excitement. Long-range sensors are picking up something incredible. The quantum restoration isn't just healing the damage. It's creating something new. You need to see this. A new dawn. The Artemis's bridge crew stood in stunned silence as they processed the sensor data. Where the quantum restoration device had been repairing the fabric of space-time, something unprecedented was emerging. The combined energies of four radically different technological approaches hadn't just healed the damage. They had created a new kind of space. It's like evolution. Dr. Wong breathed, his fingers dancing across his console. The quantum field isn't just returning to its original state. It's adapting, becoming more resilient. The merger of our technologies is rewriting the fundamental laws of this sector. Commander Chen watched as the phenomenon spread. The new space-time configuration sparkled with possibilities, combining the structured beauty of Nexari crystals, the fluid dynamics of Vorathi energy, the systematic efficiency of Caradian biomechanics, and the adaptability of human quantum engineering. The sector isn't just healing, Elena Santos added, her voice filled with wonder. It's becoming something more. The barriers between our different approaches to reality are breaking down. We're not just fixing the damage. We're creating a place where all our species can truly coexist. The alien vessels surrounding the Artemis had noticed too. Their sensor arrays were all focused on the transformation spreading through their sector of space. What had started as a desperate attempt to prevent destruction had become something far more profound. The birth of a new kind of cooperation. Dr. Patel's translation systems were working overtime as communications poured in from all three species. They're calling it the convergence, she reported. The Nexari say their crystals are resonating with patterns they've never seen before. The Vorathi are detecting energy flows that shouldn't be possible. The Caradian systems are evolving faster than they can analyze. Sarah made a decision. Open a channel to all vessels. When she spoke, her words were translated simultaneously into all three alien languages. What we're witnessing isn't just the end of a war. It's the beginning of something none of us could have achieved alone. This sector of space is becoming a place where the boundaries between our technologies, between our very ways of existing, are breaking down. We can fight it, or we can embrace it, and see where it leads us. The responses came quickly. The Nexari, their crystalline ships glowing with new patterns, were the first to formally declare an end to hostilities. The Vorathi followed, their gas cloud vessels pulsing with previously impossible energy configurations. The Caradians, their massive biomechanical ships already incorporating elements of the other species' technology, were the last to agree. But agreement was just the beginning. As the convergence spread, it became clear that traditional boundaries between species and their technologies were becoming meaningless. Nexari crystal matrices began incorporating Vorathi energy patterns naturally. Caradian biomechanical systems evolved to process information in ways that combined all four species' approaches. Human quantum technology adapted and evolved faster than anyone had thought possible. They're asking for more than peace, Amara reported, reading the incoming transmissions. They want to establish a permanent coalition, a joint effort to explore what we've created here. Lieutenant Rodriguez, who had spent weeks analyzing the aliens' military capabilities, smiled. From weapons that could tear space apart to technology that brings it together. Quite a change. Sarah watched as the combined fleet began to reconfigure itself. Ships that had been designed for war were being repurposed for exploration and research. The Artemis, which had arrived as a refugee vessel carrying humanity's last hope, had become the catalyst for something far greater than survival. "Send word to the Cryo Bay," she ordered. "Begin reviving the rest of our people. They deserve to see what their descendants helped create." As the transformation of space continued around them, Sarah reflected on the irony of their situation. Humanity had fled Earth seeking a new home among the stars. Instead, they had found something far more valuable: the ability to help create a new kind of future, one where different species could come together and build something greater than their individual capabilities. The Artemis's quantum engines hummed with new energy as the ship prepared to explore this transformed sector of space. Around them, the combined fleet of former enemies began to move in harmony, their technologies merging and evolving in ways that would have been impossible just weeks ago. This wasn't the end of their journey, it was just the beginning. The convergence was spreading, creating new possibilities with every passing moment. Humanity had arrived as refugees, but would go forward as partners in something unprecedented. A true fusion of different species, technologies, and ways of understanding reality. As Sarah gave the order to begin their first joint exploration mission, she couldn't help but smile. Sometimes the greatest achievements came not from power or technology, but from the simple human ability to see past differences and find ways to work together. The stars beckoned, shining with new promise in this transformed sector of space. The future they had created together was just beginning to unfold.